Alright YouTube, Captain Nabs here with you once again. Back in part 1, for those of you that didn't watch the video, we took off in this beautiful Austrian Dash 8 from Frankfurt, and now we're going to continue along to Innsbruck. We're going to use the beautiful Orbeck scenery, and we're going to be landing at the Innsbruck airport on one of the most beautiful approaches in the world. So stick with me. This is only about my third time doing this approach, so I don't claim to be an expert at it at all. Even in the real world, people practice this approach many times before they get into it. But nevertheless, I am happy to give this a try, and I hope you enjoy the results. It's not perfect, but it's definitely a lot of fun, and if you get a chance, pick it up and try this out, because this is a lot of fun. So onwards with the approach briefing and the descent into Innsbruck. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. We're going to get ready for our arrival into Innsbruck here. We are just going to set up the arrival right now, because it's going to have to happen pretty quickly once we get around to it. So without further ado, we're going to head up the FMS and just make sure we're set. I've checked the weather, and it looks like we are favoring runway 08 today. So we'll probably do the Loc DME runway 08. However, I don't have that in my FMS database. I've already tried this once and it didn't work. So what we put in is the localizer runway 26 instead, and it has all the same fixes, it just has a different circling procedure at the end. The other thing we're going to put in here is we're going to plan to cross Tulsi at 1000, and then we can activate our VNAV, or arm our VNAV here. So again, we're going to do this for the Tulsi at 1000, and it's going to give us that. Okay, so about 26 miles to our top and drop, so we got to get some stuff done pretty quickly here. Among the things we've got to get done, we've got to put in some landing data here. So I looked this up here. It looks like we're going to land somewhere between 58 and 59,000. So we always round up with the numbers. So 59,000 pound landing numbers here. So we're going to go ahead and set 117. 113 and 126 and 150 we'll just put in the transponder since we don't have anywhere else to put them. 126 and 150. There we go. Alright, and we'll also need to make sure we get that tuned in, and actually we've got some controllers online here, so let's go ahead and just log in really quick here. And looks like we got the Munich radar online, 2405. So let's just give them a shout. 2405. And Munich radar, good afternoon, Austrian 288, level 230.
Austrian 288. Hello, you are identified. Descend to flight level 200.
Descend flight level 200, Austrian 288. Alright, so we're
5745 for Innsbruck 119.
We're going to start down to flight level 200, and while we finish setting up the approach. So the Loc 08, 111.1. So we're going to make sure we've got this set up here, 111.1, and the inbound course. Here we go, 111.1 both sides. Watch the speed as we start down here. And we can probably kill the ice protection. I see the ice protection still on from before. I don't see any clouds in front of us now, although we will go into some eventually here, so we'll kill that. 111.1, 255 is the inbound course. So we'll bring up the format button and make sure the course is 255 is the inbound course. It's not directly aligned with the runway, and anyways, it's runway 08. It's a circling approach. We have to circle around at the far end. It's a bit of a challenging approach. It's an interesting challenge. Full disclosure, I already tried it once, and did a pretty miserable job on it. And the lesson learned from that more than anything is be prepared. It's more than anything, be prepared ahead of time. That was my biggest thing, as I was still briefing the approach as we were starting the approach, and that just does not work, especially in mountainous terrain where these approaches are.
Okay, 360, switch to Unicorn 1228.
Alright, so, we've got that 320 on the ADF.
Goodbye, Sky Trail 7 Echo Juliet, monitor Unicorn as well.
We're going to set up 320 on the ADF and just, there we go, got that one up on the ADF.
TK 15 Max Zulu, confirm climbing level 170.
Alright, and that is, yeah, that is the Arum NDB, which is on final. So we're about to level off in a minute here. We'll finish the approach briefing. The airport elevation here is 1,800 feet, so I can set the landing elevation while I'm at it here. Should point it to about 2,000, give or take. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just gives the cabin pressurization controller a little something to aim for. And that's about it. Let's see, the MDA for today, that's 210 descending 200. The MDA for this approach, we're going to use 3700 because that's going to be our circling altitude anyways. Am I looking, is this the Loc DME East or West? Yeah, that is Loc DME East. Alright, so let's just pull that up really quick. Where is it here? I've got a nice view, there we go. Just to make it easier to set that, so we're going to set this to 3700. It's going to be our circling altitude, and so it's a good target anyway to level off at. If we reach 3700 and we can't see anything, we might as well give up because we're not going to be able to make it onto the field here.
Austrian 288, descend level 150.
Descend level 150, Austrian 288. Quickly. I don't think I set alt cell anyway, so there's flight level 150 alt cell, 3700 on the MDA. Alright, so it is the Loc DME East. We're planning in Innsbruck. 111.1 is again set both sides, and the final approach course 255 was set both sides. The minimum altitude at 19 DME is 9,500 feet, and then MDA, we're going to use the 3700 because we're circling anyways, and that's the minimum altitude for the circle. Airport elevation is at 1907 feet. MSA, very high. Super mountainous terrain around here. We have to stick to the approach. If we're not VMC, we must stick to the IFR procedures. 14,200 to the south is our sector altitude. A missed approach is climb on the Loc course until we get at max gradient until we get to 1 DME away from the airport. And was that for us? I didn't hear that, I'm sorry. Honestly, I didn't hear that. I was still thinking about this. At the 119.27 for Innsbruck for Austrian 288, thank you. 119.27, there it is. Missed approach, yeah, so climbing left turn at 1 DME at with a 0.9 mile radius, that should be 155 knots or less, and a bank angle of 25 degrees or more until we get 060 back to the RUM NDB, and then rejoin the localizer outbound until we get to 14 DME, and then we can proceed direct back to the Rattenberg NDB. Alright, did we get all of that? And I totally missed the VNAV there, so we're just going to increase our rate of descent here. Not for 3,900, 2,000 is about all we should need here. Innsbruck approach, good afternoon. It's Austrian 288, 180 for 150.
Austrian 288, channel identified. Information Victor, expect local at the DME East approach, VH2C3 Alpha arrival.
Okay, cleared the Tulsi 3 Alpha arrival, and we are planning the Loc DME East. We have information Victor, Austrian 288. Alright, and that's basically it. You can see on the chart all of the terrain there. It is a steep glide slope. There is a glide slope available. We can use it, but it is a steep glide slope at 3.77 degrees, so we've got to be fully configured by the time we get there. That's about it. Terrain is mountainous as discussed. Follow the published procedures. And weather is... where did I put that ATIS?
Austrian 288, descent flight level 120.
continue descent flight level 120, Austrian 288. Alright, and the other thing we're going to do as well, make sure here, we've got the ATIS there, we're going to make sure we set 1020 as the current QNH here. We'll set it on the standby for a reference. Clouds, 2,000 foot scattered, 5,000 foot broken, so we should be able to get in, but there will be some clouds out there. You can see the clouds, the mountains poking through the top of the clouds way out there. This is going to be fun. Alright, we didn't need to slow down as much as we did this early on. It's funny how it doesn't have the line drawn to Tulsi, but it does seem to know that Tulsi is the next fix. Do we have a no link in there? That's probably why. Or a double fix. That's probably why. So we'll just go DTO the second Tulsi, and that should fix that. And I see another no link in there after Rattenberg. Oh, we don't have the correct arrival in here. Runway 26. 5745, thank you. Report a midfield right onwards from Detroit. And we should be on the Loc DME. Loc DME via Rattenberg. Austrian 288, prefer runway 26 on Detroit. We're planned for 08, we'll stick with that, Austrian 288. There. Austrian 288, thank you to expect. Alright, so let's go again, DTO. This time we've got it programmed in there correctly. There. Now the whole approach is in there. Gaining a little bit too much speed there, especially as we... and there's alt star anyways. Alright, so this time we're leveled off. Let's do a real quick descent check to make sure we've got everything. So fuel, we've got over 4,000 pounds. I think we only need about 2,500, 3,000 to go to Munich, so we've got lots of fuel to do this approach and go to still divert. Approach and landing briefing is now complete. Cabin altitude controls are... I did set them, and cabin PA complete, descent check complete. I'm going to put the seatbelts on now with a double chime. And here we go. Alright, so this time we're a little bit better prepared. The first time I did this, I was behind the 8 ball the whole time. I didn't actually talk about the circling procedure. That's the one thing I didn't talk about. And the circling procedure is basically at 4.2 DME, we go outbound on a 230 heading until we can fly 264 outbound from the Innsbruck NDB, which we'll put on number 2. 420. Now we got ADF up on both sides. Alright. Austrian 288, descend 9,500 feet, QNH 1020. Descend 9,500 feet on 1020, Austrian 288. Okay, 9,500 feet is set. We're going to VS minus 1,000 is fine. And we can transition now, so 18, 19, 20, 10, 20. Alright, let's quickly grab that ATIS and see what it says. 080 at 5 knots. It's fine. You can see there's some severe terrain out there we've got to be careful of, so how far have we got to Rattenberg here? We're 12 miles from Rattenberg. In the next 5 miles we're going to have to start configuring for landing, because basically we have to come down this approach with everything hanging out. So we're going to do the approach checklist. So altimeters again, 1020, 1, 2, 3 set, cross-checked, nav aids. We could listen to them. I'm going to assume that they're working correctly. Okay, easy 5745, stand climb flight level 130, turn left heading 210. We may not get it here anyways, so fuel transfer is off, and tank ox pumps are on. GPW is landing flat. 35 is selected.
5745 negative, the heading is 210, heading 210.
Heading 210, left heading 210, sorry, easy 5745.
There we go. Okay, pretty much get to idle, so we'll keep some. Alright, nav aids are identified. Fuel transfer is off, tank ox pumps are on. Oh, I thought I turned you off. And that's 10,500 descending 9,500. Okay, fine, I'll turn you down because I thought I turned you off, but apparently I can't turn you. Oh, I can only turn it off on this side, I think. There we go. Alright, 1,000 to go, alt cell. And GPS landing flap 35 selected, high quantity checks, caution warning lights. Check. Austrian 288 cleared the LOC DME approach runway 08. Alright, we're cleared for the approach. GPWS landing flap is 35 selected, high quantity checks, caution warning light checks, seat belts are on. Lights are on. And cabin secure. We'll say cabin is secure, approach checklist is complete. Alright, we've got to get this airplane slowing down here because we've got to start deploying the flaps here now. Alright, so high pumps on.
Austrian 464, descend flight level 130.
That's level 1 there, Austrian 464.
Alright, flap 5. And the cabin PA, cabin crew, please be seated for landing. It's a long descent from here, but we're going to be on the approach. We need to be fully configured. Alright, we'll do gear down. We'll do flap 10 and flap 15, and we do have to do conditional levers max. And now we just need the intercept the localizer and the glide slope. So we'll go ahead and sync the heading bug up here, so when we get close we'll be able to just switch to heading mode and the localizer. We can keep the speed up a little bit higher, but we do need to be ready to drop full flap as we turn final there. We're going to be on final for about, 2-3 miles, and then we're going to intercept the glide slope. 2 miles, I believe, and then we intercept the glide slope and we start down. So basically as we intercept final we've got to drop full flap.
Left turn heading 020.
Left heading 020 is 5745.
Beautiful scenery though. Even just the default scenery looks really good with the clouds around, let alone with when we get close to Innsbruck and you get to see the Orbeck scenery. This is the whole reason why we're doing this flight, is because I did get the Orbeck scenery for Innsbruck, and it looks really good. I really like it. Alright, so we'll wait till we're about 2 miles from the localizer. We'll sync the heading bug up. And we'll need the speed below 158 to drop the final flap. Alright, that's probably close enough. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go heading mode. Switch to the ILS. And there's approach, LOC, and glide slope. Are armed and LOC is active. Glide slope still armed. Glide slope is alive.
745, left turn heading 360.
Left heading 360, 5745.
And we got to drop that power back just enough to get full flap out before we hit the glide slope, or we will not be able to follow it down. Alright, there we go. So full flap 35. It's not doing a very good job of tracking that localizer there, I tell you. Should start down at 19 DME. We're going much slower than we need to at this point, but once it knows it's over, it's going to be all we can do to keep it going slow. See someone overflying there, just up to the right. Any second now. And there's the glide slope. And the go-around altitude is back to 9,500, back to Rattenberg, so I'll just leave where it is.
Descend again 9,500 feet.
Alright.
QNH 1020.
There we go. Starting to break out of the first layer of cloud. Hopefully we'll be able to find Innsbruck down there. You can sort of see the start of the city just in front of that cloud, but it's going to be a bit of a challenge to find it.
November 41 Golf, Innsbruck.
November 41 Golf,
Alright, disregard. We're on the glide slope.
Ist die Arme Yankee bereit in Ordnung?
Alright. And we'll try to aim for a target speed of 150 down there. We're at 8,900 feet and we're 2,500 feet over that mountain there. A lot of cloud out here though. This is going to be an interesting one to try and find. Still 16 miles from the runway and we've still got to circle around. This is an approach that starts a long way out, but when you start to look at the terrain on either side of this valley, you see why you've got to track this localizer inbound very precisely. Alright, so down there towards the far end of the valley there should be the approach, there should be the runway there. It's not really in view yet, but it'll become a little more obvious as we get a little closer. So I can see, if you look at the power descending down in the corner there, you can see we're nearly at idle, pretty close to idle, and yet we're still just barely maintaining, keeping it under the max flap speed of 150 here. This is why you need to be configured when you start. If we didn't have flap 35, we would not have enough drag to keep us slow on this steep approach. This is only 3.77. It's not as steep as the Dash 8 can do, but this is still, it's tough, no matter how much. Anytime you get much over about a 3.5 degree glide slope in this airplane, it can be tough to keep it on the glide slope. You need all the drag you can get. You don't have spoilers in this like you have in a jet, you've just got to keep it going down. So we're targeting a speed of about 150, trying not to wiggle the power around too much. Alright, I think if you look straight ahead you can sort of see the runway. It's a little bit dreary, you can't really make out the poppies yet, but we can see it. There are a few clouds around the airport, so hopefully we can get below and around those ones.
Austrian 464, stand by. Easy 5745, right turn, direct Romeo Tango Tango.
Would be nice if I had detents on my throttle quadrant as well. That would make life easier.
Descend 9,500, QNH 1030.
It's going to be a little bit of a challenge circling in this valley with all those clouds around. Alright, so we got 2,000 feet to go to our circling altitude of 37. And you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm not going to leave this at the missed approach altitude. I am going to set 37 on here. And we'll get some guidance as we approach the airport to maintain 3,700. Alright, you can sort of see the poppies coming in there. If we were going straight into 2.6, we could just do this, but we're planning to circle for 0.8, which means we're going to break it off to the left over top of that sort of plateau on the left side of the mountains, on the left side of the valley, and overfly that until we get to a base turn point. Gotta have the chart ready for the circling procedure here.
Austrian 288, report a midfield right downwind runway 08.
Okay, we'll call the midfield right down one for 08, Austrian 288. And you look away for a second and the thing has gained speed on us. Alright, so we're oversped the flaps a little bit there. Not my best performance ever. So, intentionally pitching up off the glide slope. We are visual at this point. We are only going to descend a couple hundred more feet. And at 4.2 DME, we're supposed to break off to the left anyways, on a heading of 230. So let's see if we can pitch up a little bit to get the speed back anyways.
Easy 51045 confirmed. Here's localizer DME east approach.
There we go.
Localizer DME east approach.
Alright.
5745.
So there's 4.7. We're looking for heading 230. And we can just go into a VS mode at this point.
November 41 Golf.
Because we're going to circle at 3700 for a couple miles. We can do a gentle descent down to that last little bit. So we're going to circle on top of this hill over here. And we're looking for a 264 track out of Innsbruck. So that is ADF number 2. Looking for a 264 track.
Austrian 464. Would you like runway 26 or circling runway is the right?
I can see an aircraft on the way down there.
That's 26 is also good for us. That makes it better for you.
Austrian 464, no problem. Report a midfield right starboard runway is the right.
So 264. So when the green one rotates around to 264, that's the track we're supposed to follow outbound until we get to 3.5 DME, where we can do our base turn. Do a tight base turn. Alright, so for some reason, we're gaining just a little bit of altitude here. We're just going to start down just very slowly here.
Romeo, hello, identified status whiskey. Cleared to CD3 Alpha arrival. Expect localizer DME east approach.
Localizer DME.
264. We're still gaining altitude here. Trying to do a lot of things all at once here, trying to hand fly this approach.
Austrian 288 traffic information is a Tomjet 757, 3 miles at your 2 o'clock. He will follow the valley westbound.
Okay, Austrian 288 looking. 2 o'clock. I wonder if that's him there. Alright, so we're a little bit too close to the mountain now at this point. So we'll just go back a little bit to the right. Distract a little. Runway 08 clear to land, Austrian 288, thank you. Alright, we're cleared to land. And we're looking for 3.5 DME. We got about another mile to go, so quick landing checklist because it's going to happen pretty quick. Standby high press P2 controller on. Landing gears down, 3 green. Flap is 35 set and indicated. And don't go below 3700. And what am I trying to do here? Oh, I got distracted. Condition levers are max. Getting too slow. Ice protection is all on. Bleed air is min and on, and ice and FA notifications. PA landing checklist is complete. Just looking for 3.5 DME to start the base turn at 3,700 feet. Pretty much at rough because it's going to have to be a pretty sharp turn to the right. We're getting a little bit high here. Alright. 3.5. There's 3.5. Alright, we're just going to put it on standby at this point because it's not telling us anything terribly useful. Alright, it's going to be a pretty sharp turn, so we're going to do about a 30-degree bank turn just to get the aircraft turned around here. I don't know why, it keeps trying to kick things in here. And when we roll out on 08, we should be not quite aligned with the runway, but it should be pretty close. I think we're going to overshoot the center line a little bit here, but we should be pretty close. Not bad, not bad. Not bad, I'll be honest, better than the first time I tried this. Alright, getting a little bit low on the approach there. I'll get rid of that just so I can see it. Corner of my screen here. We are cleared to land. Landing checklist is complete. And there we go. Back on slope. Don't get too slow on final. I'm gonna bring this back up in the corner just so I can see what I'm doing. So I can see the speed. I'm very conscious of the speed. It's a very long time to be circling with full flaps, but this is a very challenging and unique environment here. Beautiful scenery though. Absolutely love the scenery here. Alright, and we made it. Alright, wow, that was a lot better than the first time I did this approach, I gotta say, and there's somebody on the approach behind us there.
Austrian 60 Romeo, descent 9,500 feet, QNH 102.
Alright, and a quick right turn off the runway, out of the way of the traffic, and away we go.
November 41 Golf, cleared Airnav Yankee, runway 0. There goes the traffic following us. Still see him straight up there. He's doing the exact same thing we just did.
Austrian 46 for right, downwind runway 08.
Alright, after landing flow while we're just waiting here, really quick.
Calling second.
Austrian 46 for right, downwind runway 08.
Austrian 464, thank you. The wind 0835,
Protection.
08 here, land.
Good, land runway 08, Austrian 46.
And Austrian 288 is clear of runway 08.
Welcome to Innsbruck, taxi to the apron via Bravo.
Taxi the apron via Alpha, Austrian 288. Alright, we just need to make sure we find an empty gate here.
EasyJet 5745, don't forget to descend here, way too high.
Alright, let's just have a quick look around the gates here at Innsbruck. Gate 5. Gate 3's got an aircraft. Gate 1, Gate 2. Let's change the gate to Gate 2. Hopefully that was the right gate. Alright, after landing checklist, radar is off and transponder standing by. Flaps are up, control lock is on, tank ox pumps are on. Tank ox pumps 1 and 2 are off, yaw dampers off, light taxis, taxi indications red, all the lights are as required, ice protection is all off, main bus tie. That's the one I've forgotten, is tied, and APU will leave off after landing checklist is complete. And is this our marshaller here, or is he somewhere else? Should have asked for the follow me truck when I had the chance. I can still do it. Just to help me find, because I don't know which gates are programmed as which in GSX. I'm trying to look for my marshaller and my ground crew. That doesn't look like GSX marshallers there. Okay, keep on going. Here comes the follow me anyways. Don't run me over, follow me truck. There we go. especially at airports, the follow me feature is a nice feature. I don't necessarily like it all the time because I find a lot of real world airports don't use it very much, but it is a nice feature when you're going to an unfamiliar airport. Really nice feature. The only real trick with GSX sometimes is knowing which spots are already occupied by another VATSIM pilot. That is probably one of the toughest things to figure out. Is this it here? Okay, that seems to be where he's leading me. I do see my stairs and everything else, so that's good. This guy seems to have made it in behind us okay. What a beautiful evening this is turning into here. And what absolutely gorgeous scenery here. The airport and the whole valley is done to such a high level of detail. It's just wonderful. Wonderful to look at. Alright, marshaller is in sight. I'm going to go ahead and taxi light off. Oops, not too little. And away we go. I see ya. I see ya. We're getting there. Don't run into the tow bar. Just a little further. Don't run into the tow bar. Just a little further. That's far enough. Very good. Alright. And with that, we can take the bleeds off. Make sure the hide pumps go off. And a shutdown checklist. 30-second timer, and we need data, services, we need the GPU. Alright. That's off, and no steering's off, and the shutdown checklist. So taxi light is off, taxi light is off, transponder is standing by, emergency brake is set, standby high PTU and PTS, standby high press and PTU control is norm, power levers are disc, condition lever start feather, no steering is off, seat belts are off, bleed air 1 and 2 is min and off, and external power, another guy landing right behind us. It's a busy place here. Electrical page should be up here, and the external power is on, condition levers, we got 30 seconds, that's 45, so fuel off, and lights as required, standby oxygen batteries off, battery master off, and emergency brake staying on, and iPad airplane mode is off, and that's it. Shutdown checklist is complete. That's all associated with the shutdown. Yes, 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 yes. And we are here. Welcome to Innsbruck. Request deboarding. Well, it took me a couple of tries to do this one because this is a challenging airport to fly into. Just look at the mountains behind there and the magical stairs that will move on their own. But welcome to Innsbruck. Oh, what just fantastic, fantastic scenery. And what a challenging approach. It really kind of tests your ability as a pilot. You have to know your aircraft. You have to know it well. You'll never make it in here without, you know, some high degree of skill and confidence and knowledge of your aircraft and this airport. You have to know what you're doing at a time. You have to be well briefed, and you can't fall behind because the approach is very steep, and there's very little margin for error. As you can see, there is just giant walls of rock on all sides of this airport. What a beautiful airport Orbex has made, though. Looks absolutely fantastic. Wonderful to see a bunch of VATSIM pilots flying in here at the same time, luring people in. Just love it. Just absolutely love it. This is just a wonderful, wonderful little airport to visit, and just perfect. Perfect for the Dash 8 too. It's a great airplane to bring in here. So that's it. That's it for today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I didn't do it perfectly. I won't claim I did this approach perfectly. We got there, but this is an approach, even in the real world, before pilots can fly into this airport, they have to do multiple practice approaches in the sim. Practice VFR, under VFR conditions. There's a lot of practice that has to be done before you can fly to this airport. This is only my second or third time doing this approach, so it's not perfect. I could definitely do better. If I knew the approach in the airport and what to expect a little better, I could definitely do better. But overall, it's pretty good. It's not bad. I like it, and I'm happy to be here and happy to take advantage of all this wonderful scenery. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. I know it's been a very long time since I got any aviation videos out here, and I really wish I could get them out more often. Life just gets in the way. I promise over the coming months I'll try to do it again, get a few more videos out there a little bit more often, give you some fun flights in the Dash 8 and all my other aircraft in my hangar as well. And thank you again so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.